Good morning and welcome to Owl School Storytime. Today we're reading a story called The Beeman by Laurie Krebs. And this story starts with a poem called Bees by Eileen Fisher. There wouldn't be sunflowers, wouldn't be peas, wouldn't be apples on apple trees if it weren't for fuzzy old, buzzy old bees dusting pollen from off their knees. The Beeman. Here is my grandpa, who's known in our town as the Beeman. Here is his jacket with zippered up hood that covers his face, just the way it should when he visits his hives as the Beeman. Here are his gloves made of cotton and leather, protecting his hands in all kinds of weather when he tends to his hives as the Beeman. Here is the beehive where all the bees sleep, tucked in a box called a shallow or deep, and then placed on a stand by the Beeman. Here is the smoker that quiets the bees, and a hive tool that opens the beehive with ease for a much closer look by the Beeman. Here is the queen bee who does her job well and lays tiny eggs in a six-sided cell. She's the heart of the hive, says the Beeman. Here are the drone bees with big bulging eyes and a large appetite supporting their size. They mate with the queen, says the Beeman. Here are the workers, 10,000 or more, who gather the nectar to bring back and store in honeycomb cells for the Beeman. Here are the house bees with swift-moving wings that dry up the nectar a worker bee brings, making honey for me and the Beeman. Here's the extractor. It's clickety-clack, removing the honey from frames on its rack and filling up jars for the Beeman. Here's some of the honey returned to the hive. It's food for the bees to help them survive the long winter days near the Beeman. Here are the bees protected from harm inside the hive, cuddled cozy and warm. So they'll be here next year, says the Beeman. Here is the wagon filled up to the brim with bottles of honey collected by him and brought to the house by the Beeman. Here are the muffins, all warm and delicious and dripping with honey on Grandma's best dishes. I am glad that my grandpa is the Beeman. The end. Thank you for watching.